The following are excerpts of an interview with Florence Wright by her son Richard Wright sometime in the early 1970s.
Now, Riley and Susie's daughter, Ida Jean, I can't think of her last name. She's got everything. And she's got all the genealogy of the license. I don't like them. They put out hundreds of dollars, you know. Yeah. We even wrote back to Norway.
You recognize that?
Yeah, I
Turn that thing off.
I won't say for sure, because I don't know.
What, he came from Norway?
Mhm.
Right from so your folks were married over here afterwards, then? Did they know each other before they came over? Or they're both from Norway, aren't they?
They just met through friends.
What's your father's full name? Do you remember?
Well, Joseph Larson is all it is.
Didn't he have a middle name?
What?
And what was your mother's maiden name?
Anna Catherine. It's pronounced here. It used to be Anna Katrina. They pronounced it over in Anna Catherine.
What was her last name?
Peterson.
Did they pronounce it Peterson over there, or?
No, they pronounce it Pedersen. Couldn't tell me stuff.
The following are excerpts of an interview of Bryant Wright by his son Richard Wright sometime in the early 1970s.
Remember where she was living when you delivered coal?
Oh, well, it was on about 5th South, I think, and 6th East up near the old car market. There's the picture.
How do you remember it was her?
I always remember her. She was only about 15 years old.
You remembered her mother too, didn't you?
Yeah.
Who was you working for?
Well, my dad had a grocery store there on 4th East and 4th South, and we used to sell coal and kindling. I could have all the money I made out of kindling. I could cut kindling and sell it, you know. We sell them for 15 cents a sack, 2 for a quarter, or 10 for a dollar. That's where we used to make the show money, me and a friend of mine, Royal Everson. We used to get hot little show money. But then I'd have to deliver the coal too.
What kind of shows did you see those days?
Well, it didn't cost very much then any days. I used to have to go to show for a nickel. I went to show for a nickel once and won a city lot in Los Angeles.
All you had to do was figure out how to get to it, huh?
Cost money to have, I'd have money to make the papers out, which I don't know, was on 30 some odd dollars. Dad didn't have any money, I didn't have any. And we said, well, we couldn't even get down to see it, and it might be out in the middle of the ocean, we didn't know. So probably it's worth a lot of money today. There's a picture of the kid putting the rocket in the car.
Oh, yeah.
This is Kim.
Well, where was that house there that, this one here that your mother lived in?
Well, that was 7 something Green Street.
And that's where, she was living just before you married.
Well, she lived there before that. She moved there, I guess, just about the time this picture, and that's when I first seen her. She was about that age when I first seen her. She was out, sitting out there, her 2 sisters was down a little further, and a boy or somebody they were talking to, and she was sitting down on the ground playing with something. She wouldn't even look at me. She wasn't very long when we were alive. I got cussed out because I carried a 100-pound saxophone.
Oh. You were too small to do things like that, huh? His name?
Joseph.
Joseph Larson. Well, did he come over from Norway then? He was born in Norway.
Yeah. He came over when he was just a young boy. Worked in the smelter at Murray Smelter for quite a few years. In fact, I guess he worked there after he was married. He must have been working in the smelter then when your mother was born anyway. But they used to live in there. They used to work the smelter then.
Oh, when he came over, he wasn't married.
Oh, no, he was married.
How old was he?
I wouldn't know. He wasn't very long. I think he was about 16 years old when he came over and worked Murray Smelter. And then something went wrong. I don't know, his mother came along.
What's her mother's name?
And
What was the maiden name?
what?
What was her maiden name?
I don't know. Peterson.
Yeah, Pedersen or something. Larson? I remember. We got it written down somewhere, but I don't remember it either. When did your dad come over?
Well,
In England, wasn't it?
probably. Come on, man. He was quite young when he came over, because he was only about 12 years old, I think, when he come to Salt Lake. And they walked all the way across the plains. I think they rode a train or something, not so far, and then they walked the rest of the way to the hand park. Him and his brother. And his brother and his mother and father. And his father was a weaver. And the reason why he come to Salt Lake, Brigham Young, he evidently was trying to raise silkworms.
Yeah, I heard about it.
And he come there, I guess, probably did a job, but he couldn't. The only job he did was working, I understand, on the railroad or something. His hands wasn't made for what? Well, they wouldn't stand that heavy work. So he decided to go back to New York and see if he'd get another job.
Well, what was your grandfather's name? Do you remember?
Jeff. He went back to New York. Well, they did hear about him, something about where he was after, long years after. I don't suppose they never seen or heard from him directly, as I know of. But, and his mother died when he was about, I don't know, he might have been about 14 years old when his mother died, and it was just him and his brother left there. And some family took his brother. His brother was about 2 years younger than him. And then kept him. And Dad, he just wandered around the country. He used to go up to what they call the old Salt Lake Brewery. Sleep there at night.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, I think they gave him some kind of a little job around there. They weren't as strict in the days as you are now. Things. He come along and he kind of followed that kind of work. He used to work at the Fisher Brewery for a long while. And that was down, I think, west part of town. And then he finally bought the place there in Bountiful. wasn't very long, I guess, when he first moved out there. Of course, you can get all of that stuff from that genealogy stuff.
Have you got some copies of that, or is...
Well, no, not that, the history part of it, so much as it's just the genealogy work. I got a little of that, but Doris and June, you know who they are? June Coleman. She used to be a Barnett. They've put out quite a bit of money in for genealogy work, and Doris or Ethel used to be Jacobson. My sister's daughter. Her name is Frank Stewart. Her name is Stewart now. And they have quite a bit of that stuff. But me and Aunt Maud kind of contradict a lot of what they got, where they got it. You know, not a lot, but some.
Oh, that happens.
Huh?
That always happens.
And I think we're right more or less, which is natural. It's okay.
Well, your dad then later he got a store, you say, in Salt Lake?
Well, we lived in Bountiful for a good many years, and finally he was spending quite a bit of time in Salt Lake, hauling stuff down there, and we were selling stuff. And, I don't know, his old mother decided, well, she did well moving to Salt Lake, so he moved into Salt Lake and he bought a store down there. And that for quite a while, besides delivering other vegetables to other stores.
Well, were you born while you lived in Bountiful?
Oh yeah, we was in, I was quite old. We was in there about I must have been 14, 15, about 15 years. First month in there. And but the first year they moved down there, I didn't want to go to school. I didn't fall. That's when I went up there for a while upstairs. Right there for a year or better. At least I went to school 1 year after that. And we used to have to, it would take about 4 miles, I guess, to go to school. They didn't have these fancy buses in the days, the horses and buggies. I had a little horse of my own at that time we used to ride to school. And sometimes good weather was good, I'd get tired riding the horse and I'd just take off through the field. And when we went to school, you'd have to go around like that. Those blocks were about a mile long.
That was in Syracuse?
Yeah, what?
That was in Syracuse? Or?
Yeah, Syracuse. I was in the 6th grade. Then finally the next year I went to Salt Lake School in the 7th grade there. The school, the old Ochre School there in Salt Lake is where I went to school. It was between 3rd and 4th South on 4th East. And the store used to be on 4th East and 4th South out on the corner. Like it was facing 4th East. And, it had a living quarters in the back. I used to live in the back there, run the store. Sister Jane used to run the store mostly. And then I used to deliver the horses. Me and a royal friend of mine. We used to think, well, it'd be a lot nicer to drive 2 horses on one and wagons, single light wagon, you know. So we got a hold of an old wagon ton, we put it on there and we're driving 2 horses. Different around. Finally one day we was going along. We had one horse that was, then things go wrong, he run away. He was going along the middle of those sidewalks used to be built out. He didn't have the four roads so much then. And they used to, cobblestones, they used to take big sidewalks up to the water. When you come to them, it was like these here holes you have in the road, only they were raised up. We was driving along there one day, two horses on there. I guess we didn't get it fixed tight enough on one side. Hit one of them things and one side broke loose. Scared that horse and they gave it a lunge and I was driving it, pulled me out and the other side broke off. They dragged me down the road for about 100 feet before I get loose. Sliding on all the stomach. And one day, out in Bountiful, that same horse only had him hitched up alone. He got scared. Well, the tug come unloose. He got scared. And I held him, didn't let him run. But I couldn't fix that tongue, and that tug was slipping there and scared him. So he started kicking. Boy, them old shoes come right up in my face. I just throwed the lines in the air and jumped, let him go.
Let him go his own way, huh?
Yeah, he went on his way. He'd always go home.
What's he doing, plowing, or?
No, I was riding in the wagon down through Bountiful, right down through the main street right there, Bountiful. Of course, my oldest brother, he took and used to drive that horse quite a bit, a lot more than what I ever did. And we used to haul coal, you know, and take it up to the store, and then we'd stack it up in 100-pound sacks if we liked to. But anyway, he didn't have coal that day. He had my younger brother sitting in the back, and another boy. No, they were sitting up in front with him on the seat, and he was on the seat, and he was going right down Main Street, about 2nd South, I think it was, somewhere in there. And this horse's tug come loose on that one side, and they let the horse out of the shaft, so that they would swing this way and that way. He was pulling from one side to the other down Main Street. And they had an article in the paper that this deaf boy, man that drove this here horse down, on the way down Main Street with one line. Of course, he was holding onto the seat and had both lines on it, with one line, and the first time he ever spoke, he hollered, "Whoa." But he used to talk quite a little bit.
Well, they read lips, didn't they?
Yeah, but he used to try to talk quite a bit. He wanted you to talk to him all the time. He didn't care too much for Simon. Then one day in Bountiful, I was taking Mother to the grocery store. It's the horse up in the buggy. Taking Mother to the grocery store. The youngest brother and Ferris Willie, that is, they used to live next door. They used to fool around together quite a bit, and they'd take and fool around with these two colts. They had two colts about that big down there. And one day they got them and we had a little red wagon there, and they made some harness out of ropes and hitched these two colts to the wagon, and then jumped in and turned them loose. Of course, that just scared them burners to death. They didn't know what it was all about. They went down through the field just to fly. Throwed the kids out. When they got to the fence the other side, they divided this way, and that stopped it. But anyway, when I took Mother down to the grocery store, and as we come back, we just went to turn in the yard, and there was one of these colts looking out of the front room window.
Oh.
Mother raised up like this. She says, "Oh," right like that. See, we got in there, and they took them and took the kids' shoes and tied on their feet. They had them running around in the house. I was going to say, he used to have a lot of fun that kid. He couldn't hear her. He had a lot of fun.
Yeah. I bet Your mother had a lot of fun too, trying to keep up with him, didn't she?
Well, he was away to school about 9 months out of the year. He ought to be home for about 3 months of the summer. He was an awful good kid. He had a lot of fun in life. He seemed to enjoy it, even if he couldn't hear.
Well, how old were you when your father died?
Well, let's see, how old are you?
I'm 30.
Well, my father's been dead 28 years,
28.
or more, between 28 and 29 years. You were just learning to talk when he died. We went down this road, we went down into Elmer Barlow, had a truck he was taking. I think it was Barbara was with us, you and me and my other Barbara. Went down. Because you was just jabbering all the way along the road. You'd see a horse or something out there, and you'd jabber about it. Of course, I think you always could talk. Remember when you didn't?
Couldn't stop me, huh?
That's how long he lived.
Well, when did your mother die?
Well, she died the year Maxine was born. Mother didn't live too old. Mother was only, I think Mother was 69 when she died. And that was the year that Maxine was born. Maxine was born in September. And Max might have been a little. I don't remember what time of year it was Mother died, but anyway, Maxine was just a baby. And she died. She had sugar diabetes. They claim she got over sugar diabetes, but she, I guess other things caused other things.
Violet.
See, there's them Violets, and then these are her girls over here.
You know their
And
names.
there's her mother. No, I can't remember the name.
How many children she had?
She had same as we did, 4 boys and 7 girls. See, there's the 7 girls and 4 boys, but the one boy wasn't there. This is the one that just died. Her oldest boy was dead when this was taken. And this is the next to the oldest boy, and now he just died of cancer, you know, a year or so ago. I'm sorry I didn't get down here. And this is the one that was up here last summer, Dan. This is the old bachelor. He's never been there.
Dan, what's his last name?
Knighton.
Dan Knighton, yeah.
And then this is their youngest boy, which is Jack. He had a wonderful opportunity to go to high school. He was an architect and building all them big buildings there in Las Vegas. And I guess he was worth quite a little bit of money, and he got to living according to the way he was making it.
When did she die? I think, wasn't she alive?
Yeah, you've seen her quite a bit.
Wasn't one time we were down there and Grandma lived. We used to go down there. What else? Hands.
60s.
Yeah, but she was living with one of daughters, wasn't she?
Well, part the time, when the daughter was in the hospital. You've seen her quite a bit. In fact, she came up. I don't believe you know she was on the couch.
Who was it that she was there? We went to their house and gave me that record of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Aunt Irene. That was the oldest girl.
Oldest. So where is she on here?
I think that's there. I can't see from here.
The oldest daughter back there in the back.
She was the oldest in the family, and that's the boy. And then this here boy, and then the twins are over here. And then the mother. And then there's 3 boys after that.
So she lived, I must have been how old when she died?
I can't remember when she did die. run in and ask your grandma when her mother died. I don't think you remember.
Well, we
here.
can go in there, maybe we can ask her. When did her father die?
Oh, he died when we hadn't been married very long. I hardly ever seen him.
Oh,
They were living in Salt Lake, but he was living out in Tooele, working in the smelter out there, and he got sick. And he came in and was in there when he died. Used to be quite musical. Lorraine, she's not so much. None of his family, they all of them big part of the singing.
He played a mouth organ and what?
An accordion.
An accordion.
All in Norwegian people play accordions, I guess it's kind of.
Accordions and music boxes and that. Did he speak much Norwegian or anything?
I can't remember what time. When he come there, when I seen him, he was sick. And it was just, I guess Denise was the name. I'd like to really know how to play with him.
But she knew how to speak it, did.
I imagine he did too. He must have.
How do you pronounce butter? She didn't talk too much to you after that in Norwegian, did she?
Well, she wouldn't talk to me. She was talking to the others. What she was saying, I don't know. But the girls in the family, they just kind of get disgusted with her. She was just kidding more or less.
She must have had a sense of humor then. Pretty good one. I can just vaguely remember seeing her.
Your mother's as near like her as any of the family. In fact, I think she looks, when your mother's fleshier, she looks more like her.
Which twin is that?
That's Lorraine.
Looks like giving the other one an elbow.
They always did. That was the trouble.
Oh.
You see, those two and your mother used to sing together
Oh.
in the crowd when they would come in, when we go to sing together. And your mother would sing after that, because she always wanted to leave boys and tell their mother what to do. You can't do that.
You find that hard.
She'd tell her she wasn't singing right. Yet this here was the one that could really do that. She always gave it to her sister. Big, long, argument with big rooster. Says the big rooster. Or the old rooster, I don't remember which one.
How about the big old rooster?
They got tried to keep it.
Well, it's got a picture of a rooster on it, you said?
Yeah, big red rooster. It's about as big as this year. Big red rooster.
Got it from your birthday this year, or
No, it was Father's Day.
our father?
Can you put all them in here?
There's you.
No, that wasn't me.
I mean, there's mother. You must have been taking a picture.
Phyllis.
Phyllis, what's her last name?
What's
She's the one that was worked with Dewar's computer and that their IBM equipment at Hillfield, isn't she?
no,
No. Who was that? Who was that?
that was Ethel
Oh,
Jacobson.
Ethel.
Or not Jacobson, Stewart.
Used to be.
Used to be,
big.
Jake.
House.
The old house, you know,
Oh,
the picture of it.
yeah,
It was painted, the original painting.
Uh-huh. Yeah, back there. He was holding it there and went
Well,
around
it
it.
was belonged to him. His sister was the one that painted it and gave it to him.
What'd she paint it from? That model?
I think she painted it from a picture, more or less. Like I say, there's something
Well,
about
what's his name then?
That's Louis Knight. See, he's the
Oh,
fellow that
people.
died of cancer here about a year. See, here's the two pictures, and that had us both in
Yeah.
on that together.
If he had glasses on, he looked quite a bit like you.